So, the big question at the end of the Joker is, well, actually there's a couple, so let's tackle them one by one. I think the biggest one that I hear above all is that how could the Joker be 48 years old while Bruce is only 8? That's a 35-year gap. That is insane. According to most comic books, Batman started fighting crime around the age of 26. That would make the Joker 61. Worse than that, when we get to the death of Jason Todd, Bruce is now 35 and the Joker is 69. So you're talking about a 13-year-old getting crowbarred by a 69-year-old man. Are you kidding me? Jason would have whooped his ass. It'd be like the kids from It beating the crap out of the Irishman. Now, the simple truth is that the matter of the original script. Arthur is seen to be in his mid-30s. Technically, if you want to squint at the medical records, he was 3 in 1952, making him 32 or 33 in 1981 when Zorro came out in theaters. So based on what the film shows us, he's 24 years older than Bruce. However, as production went on, Phillips noted that he really wanted someone like Joaquin Phoenix. Long and behold, JP was interested, and they weren't going to let a little thing like age get in the way. Granted, there are multiple ways that this could have been resolved. You could say that the Joker has traditionally always been older than Batman. You could say that this isn't even really the real Joker, but the inspiration for what will be the Joker. You could say that the Joker took a dip in the Lazarus pit, or you could say that this is one of the 3 Jokers that exists, and you know, that this one is just like, you know, the older one. However, I think I have a more elegant solution. What if the Joker that we see here at the end is in the present day, and everything we see in his story was from over a decade ago when he first transitioned into being the Joker. And here we are 15 years later. Batman just became the Batman, locked him up, and what we are seeing is his first time in Arkham Asylum. The year is 1996, the Batman would be about 23, the Joker is 47. I think this works. That would mean that Arthur was about 32, which I know, he doesn't quite look 32, but this story is from his point of view, and it's him dropping himself into his own story. There's a scene where Arthur imagines himself watching his mother talk to her therapist at a young age, and he imagines himself being there, so as to say that he is telling his story here. It wouldn't be a stretch for him to envision himself in the past as the way that he sees himself today. It's a stretch, but it's one that I'm willing to go with. Let's take a look at the bright side. It would have been so much worse if they de-aged Phoenix the entire movie just to appease the audience. Just go with it, people. Suspend your disbelief. I mean, come on. He's a kid that was raised by crackheads, malnourished, abused, and chained to a radiator. Maybe the years haven't been so kind to him when it comes to aging. Have you seen Skinny Pete? He looks 50. There's also a few things that might lend to this idea on how time has passed. Arkham Asylum is seen to be cleaner and brighter than it's seen before. Arthur seems to have put on a little bit more weight, and in the screenplay version, the therapist asks him what's so funny, and we get a flashback to Bruce Wayne standing over his parents. What if it's present day, and what the Joker finds so funny is that he just figured out that he is the father of not Bruce Wayne, but of the Batman. The Joker would enjoy the irony, considering that it was supposed to be Thomas Wayne that was supposed to be his father in this whole story. In the screenplay, the Joker doesn't let the therapist in on the joke, saying, "It's personal, it's between me and him." Bruce Wayne, the Dark Knight. Another question I see is how much of the story is actually real? I think the easiest and laziest way to answer this question is to say that none of it is real. Either because he's delusional and he doesn't know it, or he does know it but he's lying completely. Either way, the entire story is one man simply telling a tall tale. After all, much of the story is hard to believe. None of what Arthur ever does or says is ever planned. It's all just happenstance, which doesn't feel like the Joker we know.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
Yeah, you do. This guy? I can't really explain why everything happens the way it does. It just kind of coincidentally falls into place, which makes me go, this is a little, bullshitty. It's also hard to believe that so many people would join Arthur's cause without him actually being there to lead them. Then again, this is Gotham, the crime rate is record high, and it's divided between the haves and have-nots, blah, 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 blah. And you gotta go with it, people, because Todd Phillips, the guy who made Old School, he's a genius, and he wouldn't have any plot holes in his story. No, he wouldn't. But you know what? I think that's pretty lame to have it all in his head, so let's go deeper into the story and see what we can do. First things first, let's rule out what is definitely fake. Number one is Arthur's fantasies. Whenever you watch a scene and the characters are saying and doing what Arthur would like them to say and do, it's fake. Like when he's on stage at the comedy club and he thinks he's doing well. And of course the big Fight Club reveal scene when he finds out that he never actually knew Sophie in the way that he actually thought he did. The only time that Arthur and Penny actually interact is here and here. And yes, there is a scene in the beginning where he imagines being on the Murray Franklin show, but I think this scene is meant to be shown as a daydream and not as a delusion. Next question, is Thomas Wayne Arthur's father? No, and I hate this question so much. Alright, so, here's what happened. Rumor has it that in the earliest writing stages of this movie, there was an idea to make Batman and Joker half-brothers. It would have been more like the Telltale series or Smallville, where two iconic characters would have been more intertwined than one originally thought. Essentially, the claim is that Penny used to be a housekeeper for the Waynes, and during that time had an affair with Thomas Wayne. Which, you know, fine. I mean, this is like the Arnold Schwarzenegger story now, essentially, but hey, I get it. It's fine. It's okay. I'm sure Arnold loves this movie. He watches it every holiday season while watching Jingle All the Way. It's a double feature, everybody. It's fantastic. I'm sure it's great. He must love it. Fantastic. And yes, there is some evidence that might suggest it to be true. Thomas Wayne is surely rich enough that he may have paid people off to falsify these records and cover up his tracks. Hell, if he was really devious enough, he could have even been the one responsible for Penny being the way that she is. But at the same time, I highly doubt it. I mean, for one, you have to believe the many layers of this story. You have to believe that Penny told Arthur the truth, to the best of her knowledge, and from there, that Arthur told the therapist the truth to the best of his knowledge. And to me, honestly, there's way too many layers of deception to try to read between the lines. Thomas Wayne, you are not the father. And then finally, with the big question that I always see a lot is, did the Joker kill Sophie? Now, in the director's commentary, Phillips would confirm that she is alive and well with a new job and a boyfriend, that Arthur would have no reason to harm Sophie or her daughter Gigi. If you read the original script, Sophie is a part of Arthur's life, but in a very minimal way. He follows her around, and eventually they become friendly with one another, and he invites her to his show, and she actually does show up, but it's essentially she just feels bad for him. He heavily misinterprets her kindness for interest, and thinks that they're on their way to dating, but in the third act, instead of walking in on finding that she was just an hallucination, he walks in and finds her getting it on with her boyfriend, who is buck naked, chases Arthur down the hallway, back to his apartment. I can't make this up. It's hysterical. I would love to see this. I think it would be funny as hell. Check it out, it's in the original script, I kid you not. And the following day, Arthur calls her, like, you know, he shows up at a playground and he's like, "Mommy's a whore!" And she slaps him and he walks away, and that's pretty much the last time that we see them together. The last time we see Sophie, actually, is watching the Murray Franklin show. See, if you look at the trailer early on, there's that scene that's not in the movie where the Joker has, like, the magician flowers again, but he actually doesn't have them in the movie. The reason why is because in this version, he takes Randall's money, he writes her a note, and he leaves the money, the note, and the flowers on her doorstep, and it basically just says, "I'm gonna be on the Murray Franklin show, watch it tonight, it's gonna be great." And, you know, it's kind of like a throwback to, like, the Kings of Comedy, because De Niro does, like, the same exact thing, trying to get this girl to watch him on the show, even though it's gonna be a giant shit show. And it's gonna be chaos, and it's gonna be all over the place, but you know what? That's entertainment. So, you know, she watches it, and everything goes down horribly wrong, just like in the movie. She starts screaming, her daughter starts screaming, it's all crazy, and then that's it. So, Sophie is okay, she's dating a new guy, Phillips has confirmed it, she's alright. He's even said, there's no reason why Arthur would actually have a cause to kill Sophie. Even though they didn't really know each other, in the brief times that they did kind of interact, she was one of the few people that actually was kind of kind to him. So I get it. So she's fine, no worries, moving on. So, at the end of the day, you just have to take it all with a giant grain of salt. My interpretation is that everything we're seeing in Arthur's version was as he remembers it, and considering he's telling his version, it's going to be embellished quite a bit. There's little tiny nuances, I think, that lean into this a little bit. For example, when Joker is telling the story, he's not really original when he starts the story and when he ends the story. For example, the Joker has a therapist in the past who also wants him to write in a journal, that she's also African American, that she's also in a room that looks exactly like the room that they're in right now. And then when you get to the end of the movie, it's kind of a little bit of a tip when the Joker is pulling away in the cop car and the song they're playing in the background is White Room, which of the opening line goes, "In the white room with black curtains at the station." Now, I know this is supposed to be about drugs according to Eric Clapton and everybody that's involved in Cream. However, it wouldn't be beyond someone like Todd Phillips to be like, you know what? This song is called White Room. And you know what? The Joker is in a white room. What if this can be a hint that the entire time he is in a white room? Oh my god, Oscar, Oscar, Oscar! It's great, it's great, it's great! I mean, because at the end of the day, it's Todd Phillips. He's not the second coming of Christ, aka Martin Scorsese. He's just Todd Phillips, the guy who made Old School and Road Trip. So, and while he is pretty damn good, let's pump the brakes a little bit, alright? I think there's a lot of different ways that you can look at it. I think the Joker is telling the story that is embellishing things a little bit. So maybe these things happened, but in a smaller way. Maybe instead of 40 clowns at the end, there was like 7 or maybe even 12. And maybe he did shoot these 3 Wall Street guys, but in telling the story, he lost track of how many bullets he fired. I think he did shoot Murray Franklin, and I think that did lead to the death of the Waynes, but the exact particulars are always going to be a little hazy at best. Speaking of the Wayne murders.
Did you hear what the ending was supposed to be? So originally, the ending in the hospital was different. What might have been. And who knows if it was just in script, but here goes. So he's in the hospital and he laughs, chuckles, and the lady goes, "What's so funny?" And he said, "I was just thinking something funny." What was supposed to happen was you flashed back to the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne. And it was him killing Thomas and Martha Wayne. And the boy was screaming and crying, and he turned to walk away. Then he turned back, shrugged, and shot the kid. Credits. What the fuck, man? Could you imagine?
Okay, wow, I think that is awesome, but that's probably not what's really going on here. I don't know, maybe that could have been one of those, hey man, let's just film it and see if it's any good. And they were probably like, nope. For one, you close the door on Bruce Wayne ever being Batman. And secondly, I'm fine with the idea that Joe Chill, who took the inspiration from the Joker and all the riots, and that's fine. But to say that the Joker who killed the Waynes, and then it just messes up the continuity way too much, and it's just a big mess. It's not what Bill Finger and Bob Kane would have written anyway. I don't like it. This is Tim Burton craziness from '89. Joker never killed the Waynes. Pure and simple. I do think that maybe this could actually be the Joker. It could be the inspiration for the real Joker, but I can't go with that idea. So that's just about it. That wraps things up. What do you guys think about the ending of Joker? Did you think that it was all in his head? Do you think it was partly in his head? Comment down below. We are giving away a new PS4. Check out for the details below, and thank you guys so much for watching, because as always, you just got burned. Thanks for watching.